board games, and that's Don't Wake Up Daddy. It was a game where you would go around and
It's a game about David's childhood.
You made him cry!
Look, I'm trying to be nice to David's family. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
These are all games that I would actually play at my dad's house.
Really?
Don't Wake Daddy was the scariest. Give me flashbacks to Nam.
Well, for you it was Don't Wake Up Donna, because your dad would come down. Welcome to Tim's Top 5. This week we're going to be doing my top 5 childhood board games. The ones that took at least 10 minutes to set up. So you got all confused and you lost all the pieces, and once you lost the piece you would beg your parents to buy the game again. Coming in at number 5 is Mousetrap, a game that took over 10 minutes to set up, and it was never worked correctly, but you always bugged your parents to help you set it up and they'd get angry at you for that. So the game, you were a mouse, you would go through the board and you would try to trap the other mice. It was designed after a Rube Goldberg mousetrap, a very complicated mousetrap. But you would go through and try to trap everyone's mouse. I think my favorite part of the game was simply setting the board up. I don't think I ever actually finished it. I was just amazed when it would work, or if it could work, or how close it would get to work. So that's what I loved Mousetrap for. It was not the actual game, but it was cool. Weird. Coming in at number 4 is Don't Wake Up Daddy. Now, I didn't remember this game right off of the top of my head, but when we were looking at list of board games, it popped right out. So the premise of the game is you would go around a board that had a contraption that was a dad in his bed, and you would land on different things, and you would pump this little alarm clock next to him, and if you were the unlucky one to get it the right time to it, he would shoot up, and you would wake up, and you would lose the game. And you'd keep going until you were the lone survivor. Growing up, when you had sleepovers, I always was waking up my parents and they would come up and yell at me, so in a weird way it made sense for a board game because kids could relate to it, as well as a clever mechanism to put into a board game. Coming in at number 3 is the game that requires the most skill. The only game that button mashing is more important than in video games, and that is Hungry Hungry Hippos. The game with all the little balls and marbles rolling around and the different colored hippos. Hungry Hungry Hippos, Hungry Hungry Hippos. Hungry Hippos, Hungry Hungry Hippos. And you'd be just jamming that little black lever, and just eating them all. Ricky was really good at the game because he was so good at eating food. He's a bigger guy, so he likes to eat the marbles himself. He instead of eating the marbles through the hippo, he would actually eat the marbles. So Hungry Hungry Hippos is easily my number 3, just because it was a simple game and eating marbles is fun. One of my favorite things about childhood or children's board games is all the different things that are involved with them. So coming in at number 2 is going to have to be Gooey Looey. It was literally just a head with a big nose. One of the things that I like about the board, essentially, or the game, is that it has a character with a big nose, just like our friend Brian. Brian's got a really big nose, but the premise is you would dig into the nose and you would just pull different things out, right? Like, that was it. Like, would you have like certain things you could search for, right? And you would just pull out the things you were searching for, right? Real life Gooey Looey. So, side note, when I used to, growing up, me and my cousin Ryan, we would pick our nose and we would wipe it on this wall, what was known as the booger wall. And like years later, my aunt went to go paint that wall, and she spent 2 days chipping our boogers off the wall. So number 2 is gonna have to be Gooey Looey because it was just weird, because you're just picking noses, and I think everything with the crazy contraptions for children's board games I just thought were cool. So coming in at number 1 is a game that involves strategy, reading an opponent, and lying. It was one of my favorite games. It was 1v1, mano-y-mano, and that is Guess Who. Guess Who was one of my favorite games growing up. It was simple, it was easy, and it was one of the games that not only my friends liked to play, but my parents and my other family members liked to play as well, just because it was a little bit more involved and it was a little bit more tricky as well. So Guess Who has a couple good memories for me, and I think it's just a clever game. and lying is fun. So that was Tim's top 5 children's board games. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment on the video. What was your favorite childhood board game? I'm sure it was not Guess Who, and if it was, you are probably a good person. If not, you're not a good person. Subscribe to the channel, GameShell. Check out our new website. We got a couple of things up there. We'll be going on that. Use hashtag GameShell to have your pictures show up on the front page of that website. Hope you enjoyed watching. Dave hated the game.
My dad never helped me set up the game. He just told me to get a job. Get a fucking job.
Get a job and maybe they'll help you set up.
Help me set up Mousetrap. Get a fucking job.
Tim's top 5 board games that he remembers from his childhood. We're gonna venture back where we're gonna talk about my top 5 board games. Board game. I'm just giving you something to animate.
Oh, great.
Because this needs to be there. Just Dave's face at the end of the toothbrush, and just.
But I'm chewing on Tim's face and I say,
alright, that's too much.
And everybody calls this bye.
While I'm brushing my